welcome to the greatest stream of all time, in which only the greatest stream, the best oh my god, I'm so cringe, but that's okay. I'm allowed to be cringe, because I am Mike the Entei, the only streamer on YouTube. God, I feel like I'm like already a week late to the party in terms of this game. Like I've seen like 12 different playthroughs of this game on my YouTube feed already. Like whatever, too bad. I'm doing it. I want to make this content, and if it flops, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about what I'm gonna do if this content doesn't get views. You don't even want to know. Oh god. Okay. Can Discord like work? Can Discord actually work so I can spread the stream link or whatever? Can that happen, please? Please, come on. Yeah, man. Let me get the link. Yeah, Discordo. Discord. He's nuts. God, I'm so good. Dude, that is the funniest fucking YouTube video. Oh, I just swore. Demonetized. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've been spending too much time around fast food workers because I work at fast food. Oh gosh. Alright. Hi. Alright. Wow. Wow. I'm so good at this. I'm so good at I'm the best, baby. Wow, why? Alright. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What's going on? What am I doing? Wow. Whatever. I don't feel like mass linking. Whatever. Alright. Turning off Discord for latency. Turning on the audio recorder. Just so that I can potentially use the file in the eventual review video. Hello? Voice recorder. Voice recorder, are you recording? Yes. Amazing. Alright, let's do it. Turnabout visitor. Turnabout visitees. I just stopped making the same joke to myself. Alright, let's do it.
What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then what now? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Eh? Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the Master Key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information regarding the mysteries surrounding my door. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. I don't see any signs of forced entry. And according to the guide, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir. Meaning that the door really was opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this case. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the Master Key. I should jog her memory by showing my notes to her with X. So when did you discover that the Master Key was missing? By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. And I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times, it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? It's more... we always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window. Always, you say, except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of abusing it at the time. It was after I'd used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge. She used the Master Key. What did you mean by you used the Master Key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? What is it? That's right! I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird. Quickly. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir. And that's when you loaned the Master Key to him? No way! It's against regulations to loan the Master Key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. I see. And then, what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the Master Key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious! I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a thorough examination of Mr. Portsman's door. Ms. Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30 a.m., correct? However, the Master Key had already been stolen at that time. Wow. Nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw it contradicts like a pro. I totally forgot about all that, but thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around the very time that I realized the Master Key was missing. And, well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the Master Key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. The door is locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? This is the office of a high prosecutor detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get through them. Aha! So I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is. Might I advise you to return the conclusion to whatever pawn shop you bought it from? Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? There's a contradiction here between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I am certain of it, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I hadn't. Which means, what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door, but how can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is, we need to examine these. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey you, yeah you pal, do us a favor and see if you can lift from this, okay? So, what did you find out? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective.
Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Faith's prints on this doorknob.
So only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's print should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose print should also be on this doorknob? Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? You mean... Yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. What have we here? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. What is this? Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, here's something written on it. It looks like a note from the victim. Yeah, and it's from Mr. Portsman. What's this? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off. Hey, you're right, sir. I guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk. The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I better take note of this. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Isn't this that missing O-Series file, sir? No doubt about it. The bloody letters marked it clear as day. There seem to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind. So what are these O-files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belonged to the high prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were. And that means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. I wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it. That's exactly what my logic was telling me too. I expected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on truth's door.
Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letter, sir.
Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Gwah! Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke? It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you were the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you could stay if you promise to stay out of our way. You intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear on your cowl. Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, you're meant to as Manfred of our karma, right? Legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaching me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games with me? Because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though we have yet to prove anything. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Sorry, but we are not finished yet. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something? I'll show you what I'm basing my accusation on with evidence. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, you I propose I unlocked your door and got in here? I believe you were able to open my office door, with the master key no less. Wait, hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key. You had asked Ms. Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know? But the room you had Ms. Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet what if you had misled her, to fool her into thinking what you wanted? And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression, that the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. What was it that Mr. Portsman used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room? What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor. That's very true, sir. Because there was a basketball hoop sitting there, I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's. There are signs that the hoop has been moved. To sit it in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, have you know? I just washed it yesterday. Please come down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How is that a lie? This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door, or did you not notice? And right here it says, "But you're out." You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then where were you and what were you doing? Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you. That's just nonsense! You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. I had your door dusted for prints. My door? What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything, and definitely not Ms. Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her print should actually be on the doorknob she touched. Ugh! Further, all of the prints on my office door's knob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Ms. Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me, and Detective Faith found you out, possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. And just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth was just plain it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down well. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched, which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, we could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, though that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. But you can't prove that, can you? Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir. Ugh, Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Do you really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. So you'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, I think we're in trouble. He's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down at Criminal Affairs say they saw him around 2 a.m. You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. So there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? Hold it! You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're sure with the time. I remember checking my watch then and make no mistake it was 2. Ooh, I'll give you testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. And it was then that you had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. Hold it! It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you're the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come on now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in Criminal Affairs. Hold it! So you paid the Criminal Affairs Department a visit. Yep. Right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Hold it! Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. A number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See? I had the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Ugh. Impossible. He actually does have the perfect alibi. What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say anything back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there?
Sir.
Please escort the young lady out. But remember, be gentle. Maggie! Detective Gumshoe! Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If I only had a clue, did I miss something that can help me cast down on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic. There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder, so it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it, and once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. We suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that was pointed at my back. Mr. Portsman, it seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great! So you finally come to your senses. Mr. Edgeworth. Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. A thief? But sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality 2 culprits stole into my office tonight. Well, what do you mean 2? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario, Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then just when he was about to look somewhere else. Who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office would be my guess. Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into this office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind. He's such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir? Yes, and this other person was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door of my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. The stolen O file, right, sir? Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shelves getting messed up twice and the 2 bullets. It was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief and was not in fact Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. It's Mr. Edgeworth after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which is withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir.
But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point.
Don't say that, sir. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. The person you met really was just a plain old thief. Then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down in criminal affairs, so I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left.
So you think we should be out there, looking for the thief?
Of course. Now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions.
I don't think it's at all dead-ended.
I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we?
I know he's lying. I know he was here at the scene of the crime. I just have to find a way to prove it.
That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it. Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith?
That's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits.
And what of the evidence he brought?
They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant.
Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks.
He brought me 2 items, a gun and a pendant, that are related to yesterday's case.
Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail.
Excuse me?
You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me.
What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you.
Well, here's a piece I think you should read, carefully.
It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces.
Yes, and this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman.
I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic.
Where is the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe.
You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Don't come any closer. I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal, so don't even think about stopping me. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir.
Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide.
But why would he hide something like that?
There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin.
That's blood, isn't it?
Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh.
You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way into this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. Yeah. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No, impossible. Mr. Postman has been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. I'm just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing. Really, compared to what I've been through, I mean, I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from my goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security detail. You know something, sir? That Mr. Postman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard that there were a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence, huh? And they say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to our profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up. Although we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh, well. With Mr. Postman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? Then Mr. Postman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather that there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance to this piece of evidence. Take that! The person who stole this file. The other villain of the night. Yeah, I wonder who it was. And what happened to the stolen pages. I wonder, who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint?
Mr. Edgeworth, sir?
Yes.
I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir.
This card! What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about. Yes, it is the mark of the great thief Yatagarasu. Under the mark of a legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence, and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media. Along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the Yatagarazu's last appearance. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming. But they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. I'm surprised you didn't make a reference to, you know, the Phantom from Dual Destinies. Something like that. Alright. Episode 2 will come later. I don't feel like moving on to episode 2. No. How do I exit? Look, it's Edgeworth. It's Mr. AIDS, Miles Edgeworth. Whoa. So now I assume I could look at the gallery. Yeah. So in the Apollo Justice trilogy, I will, minor spoilers, the letters on the card are of a foreign language. I don't know if it's supposed to look like anything, but it's of a foreign language. That's all I can really say. So the Apollo Justice trilogy had a gallery. You could view everything immediately. In this game, you cannot. Look at him go. Look at Mr. Portsman go. And Mr. Faith. And Ms. Bird and Officer. This is my favorite. Yo, the Apo. You can just look. There he is. There he is. There's the guy. Best character. Best character. Apo's the officer. Wait, does he have Apo? Oh, let's go. Look at him. Does he T? No, he just Aposes. Officer and forensics. I never even realized they were different sprites. I never even realized that. Dead. Look at him go. Does he A-pose? I don't think he A-poses. He's a 2D video game character. Jack Sportsman. I thought it's like supposed to be Jock Sportsman. He throws the book at you. He has 24 animations. That's more than Maggie Bird. Dude, I love how this guy is I mean, I guess they're counting like him looking in different directions, which they are technically entirely new sprites, to be fair. Oh yeah, these guys, they don't appear in confrontation. Nomph. Oh, I didn't. Wait, can I not view the old style? Oh, right, the old style only exists for the sprites, for the overworld sprites. I do wish that there was a, I am very sad that there's no animation studio. Like, okay, I hate to say this, but this feels like a, okay, I like that they have the chibi and HD art styles for the overworld sprites. But and there are more new arrangements of music. That's good. But in terms of like the gallery stuff, it feels like a downgrade. First of all, I don't really like having to unlock these things, even though for some people it will be their first time playing Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Well, okay, obviously these collections are somebody's first time playing the game, but I kind of get why they would make these things unlockable, but I don't like that there's no like, you can't change the backgrounds and stuff. I wish you could. No shot they pronounced Jake. If they call... Oh, God. I would hate that. Oh, yeah. Also, the music that's been happening... Like, Wait, where's the... Okay, like you hear this is the Allegro theme that was playing, right? Okay, I do agree that like the beige sort of like light brown orange kind of, it kind of feels like a book. That's really it. So this is the investigation theme that was happening, right, in the game, but there's actually like it's arranged, it's different. And trust me, I will use the original, I'll use the pixelated art and non-arranged soundtrack at some point. I'm not gonna spoil when, but it'll be fitting. God, I really like, where is it? This one. Oh, the classic. Oh, the best theme in the series. I love this theme so much. Let me turn that up on the stream. Oh yeah. Let's go. Football is on, I should probably be watching that. Alright. Should I play Rhythm Heaven? Should I just turn this into a Rhythm Heaven stream? I still need to finish Rhythm Heaven. I'm like kind of in the mood, but like football, I don't know. Oh, it just repeats. How do I make it not repeat? Boy. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna watch football probably. Yeah. All right, bye.